Hey, what up, everybody? Wanted to give you a recent update on the coin market and what is happening in cryptocurrency. So we have just hit a half a trillion, so $500 billion right there. That's craziness. And so I'm pretty excited. I figured I'd just bring it your way. Just looking at the top coins right now, Ardor, Ion, Ripple, which I've talked before. Up to 37 cents with such a large supply. That's pretty insane. So we'll go back to CoinMarketCap. Okay, dear. You might have noticed that I'm not sharing a YouTube video for any of my family and friends who clicked on my Facebook and got a link. You'll notice that it's not YouTube. It is DTube, the decentralized YouTube, if you will. This is a platform brought to you by Steemit. Some of you might know Steemit in case you haven't landed on one of their page. If you have ever heard of Reddit, it's the largest forum for people to basically just speak about pretty much any topic. A lot of memes derive there. Obviously, they come from 4chan as well, but it's just one of the largest platforms for forum talk. So you post something, someone else posts something underneath it, et cetera, and you start the ball effect essentially of having a conversation, hence forum. So looking at Steemit, this is the website, steemit.com. They have multiple avenues of which they're trying to outreach into social media. They essentially are going to be the next Facebook, if you will, or the next MySpace, if I could say so. No, just kidding. But they also brought out DTube, which essentially is, again, a YouTube by which I am starting to post over a lot of my videos. Now I'm going to probably post on YouTube, probably post on DTube. Another one that seems to be trending lately is Viuli or Viuli. I'm not sure how it's pronounced. I'll have to look that up. But they just got started. You can see we're on their token distribution page and they have an alpha out right now. So check that out. It looks pretty cool. Seems like the interface works almost identical to YouTube. Obviously, you know, that's how you start. You just copycat what's already been successful and then you kind of produce from there. But again, decentralized form of YouTube. So many people have heard about complaints on YouTube being regulated, or that, you know, they post a video and then it gets taken down. Certain information, say, I don't know, they release information that maybe the CIA doesn't want you to hear about, or certain government entities say, we're not going to let you talk about that. Instantly it's banned, it's taken down. Now if you see a video on YouTube and it says, oh my gosh, watch now and share before this gets taken down, that kind of crap, it's probably not that sensitive, and I wouldn't think that that's the kind of information you should be putting in your head necessarily. But there are some people that have some really good information and post it out there. So DTube is going to be an excellent source of where you can post and not necessarily be hindered on what you post. So they are enforcing some sort of regulations. I know that you can't just upload a bunch of porn and a bunch of crap on there, but really cool place to check out. So before I go to work, I just wanted to touch base with you and say hello to all my friends and family at home, and just say, wow, look at this. So background of my story, again, I got in at 2014, I think, when Bitcoin was like $400. I ended up investing in Bitcoin, and I really wish I would have just stuck with Bitcoin, to be honest. But trading also allowed me to have some really huge gains. The problem is I didn't understand how technical analysis worked. I didn't understand how to pull out when it got to a certain point. So there's a couple coins that I ended up investing in, watching it explode, and then just absolutely tanking. No offense, I know some of you really, really love this coin. The community is absolutely huge. I wish it all the best, but one of those is Digibyte. Digibyte I bought in at 0.001 cents, about the same that I bought in at BitPay, and I watched that go up to 7 cents. The purchase price, I believe, was like $500, and I watched it go up to $32,000, I think, at that time. Soon after June hit, June, July, and August, all of a sudden the markets absolutely crashed. So go back, go to CoinMarketCap, click on the market cap up here, that beautiful $500 billion number. That is so crazy. And look at, and you won't be able to really, well, you can see it here. So here is the month of May, and this is actually about when I started really profiting. I started trading, let's see here, they're about in February, I think. Yep, February 2nd. So kind of ramped in there, didn't really make too much, and all of a sudden, boom, this thing exploded. And again, when I was trading, I mean, back in February, you're looking at a $20 billion market cap. 20 billion. It's up to 500 billion now. So a lot of speculators are saying, oh, the bubble, watch out for the bubble. Let me explain something. Tulips were a bubble because tulips couldn't be used. There's no utilization case for tulips. .com was very, very vast. Multiple people, just honestly, you didn't need any vindication or decent product. What you needed was a good domain name, which is why pets.com ended up being such a high valuable asset to be holding at that point. So people were pumping in their money into stuff like pets.com. When that ended, well, pets.com, no offense, didn't have the value to transition into what we see today with the new internet, with where the internet bubble took us. So in the same sense, you know, we have the internet bubble producing what? eBay, we saw Amazon, we see Google. All of these things are huge, absolutely huge. Did they go and pop? No, they kept growing and growing and growing. Now, if you look at the yearly financial statements, you can see how many of these companies are losing money, etc. Not trying to get into that necessarily, but to just make a point that yes, we are seeing an uptrend in cryptocurrency. We do see the possibility of bubbles popping. I get that. We've actually seen Bitcoin in its lifetime has seen many bubbles. But we're on a rise to 500 billion, and again, it's still not the equivalent of some of these huge markets that are out there. Some of these are multi-trillion dollar markets, and here we are. I mean, again, a U.S. deficit. I mean, multi-trillion, right? So when you're looking at markets, you have to realize that there has to be a use case for these things to basically survive or to stabilize. In a lot of situations, I think we're going to see most of these guys. Now, if I go through here, excellent to see BitBay at 996. That's one that I'm hoping survives, right? But a lot of these may not survive. They may not end up. Let me actually. I'm bringing you through only the top 100 here. Let's go to View All, and we can scroll it down. And when I mean they won't survive, that means it's so many right now that the page froze up. How am I supposed to work with this? Page is freezing up. Come on. That's why we need a decentralized coin market cap, huh? Anyone? Say with Blockfolio, maybe a decentralized version. Come on, Enigma, get on that. Anyway, so looking at Sharkcoin, Protein, T-Coin, EBIT, eGold, and I'm calling you out randomly. I don't know what you are. I don't know if you are going to be the next Bitcoin. No idea. We really don't know. Some of these are actually really decent coins. I'm sure some of them, but most of these, I'm going to be honest with you, they're just absolute shat coins. And a lot of people get into them because why? Well, we hit the price, and once this decides to turn over, that's actually ridiculous. Bit20, what is, so these, stay away from these. Okay, these are really low supply. Yes, you can probably make some profit somehow. Maybe there's people doing that. I would just advise you to probably stay away from like 42 coin. There's only 42 of them made, so it's so scarce that it has a high value. But really, a lot of those you got to watch out for. Some people just pump into them, and what you have is people holding this coin which has no real value because it doesn't do anything. It's just super scarce. So what ends up happening is people buy into them, and then they put like $10,000 in, and then they realize, oh wait, there's nobody buying. So when the value kind of goes up after this huge trend, well then it gets dropped. Everybody that can sell sells, and then it starts to cycle over again with those holders, and those holders holding on to it until some schmuck gets into the game and says, oh, well, what's this coin? And then they end up buying into it and then those previous sales. So if you're looking at Ponzi schemes, it's kind of what I would imagine a lot of that stuff is. Again, do your own research. I'm not a financial advisor by any means, and I should probably point that out right now. I'm just a lowly little DTube presenter. So, but if I hit price again, and it should flip on us, a lot of people get into these coins because what is that? That's not even a penny, right? And this isn't even a penny. I can't even calculate that without drawing it out on a piece of paper. That's so low in cost. But when you have something that is this low in cost, I'm not seeing anything that's showing me any decent gain. Well, let's look at this, like right here. Ether Dodge. No idea what that coin is. Never investigated it. But in the last week, it went up 191%. Environ, 225%. So why are people investing into these? Because they're speculation coins. They're day traders. And what they'll do is rally together. A lot of people rally together and they will pump these coins and then send them skyrocketing. And then that way, you know, other buyers see this and they go, oh my gosh, it's up 100%. I better get in this. It's called FOMO, fear of missing out. And then essentially they buy into it. Same thing happened with Bitcoin recently. Bitcoin hits 20,000. Well, great, or up to 20,000 in some markets, right? And some people are buying at that price, thinking, oh my gosh, this thing is going to go to 100,000 like everybody's been talking about, all the news articles and everybody that was praising it beforehand. But then, of course, it has a pullback, which is very, very good. You want to see pullbacks. You want to see markets not crash, but when I see a lot of red, when I see just an absolute ton of red, that's when I buy. That's when I want to get into the game. Let's go back to the market cap here. Back top 100. Anyway, so right now we are seeing a ton of greens. There's a few reds here. But overall, like this is just, I mean, it's looking like Christmas right now. Or at least Christmas trees, because there is a lot of green. So, point being, be wary of some high price coins. Also, those low price coins doesn't necessarily mean they're going to give you a huge high rise. But, you know, definitely look into them. I bought really low coins, again, 0.001 on Digibyte and BitBay. They skyrocketed. They did really well. And even looking at Bay today, I love this coin. I love what the guy is doing. You can see that this has spiked. Absolutely just tremendously spiked. Now, one thing I will point out is usually this is what you have. You have this kind of spike. So let's just zoom in on that. You usually have something like this. Goes up, comes back down, it retests this last high here. You can kind of point that line right across and see how there's low, retest from this high, goes up, boom, forms a shoulder, skyrockets up, comes back down, and then forms that second shoulder right there. This is what we call a head and shoulders pattern, pretty recognizable pattern when you're seeing losses coming. So it goes up, forms a shoulder. You can even see right here, there's a shoulder, head, and then there's another shoulder. So there's a head and shoulders inside of a larger head and shoulders pattern. That's something that I'm going to get into more when I do some technical analysis with everybody, showing you, different ways that you can tell when a coin is ready to buy. However, mostly what we see, again, is this high point, and then let's just get rid of the Bitcoin price real quick. You can see this high point, and then it just and it drops, and it goes back down to its left leg. So here's the left leg, drop, right, and then here's the right leg, essentially. So, and then you can draw those lines out, etc., and do some technical analysis and to predict into the future. Where is it exactly going, etc., etc. This is forming similar patterns, but here you can actually see real close down, up, down, up, down, up. Now, whenever you see a pattern like this, we already discussed the head and shoulders. We are looking at something called a reverse head and shoulders pattern. So that's a good indicator. So right here, if you saw it go down, and then it went up, and then it went down, and then it went up, and then it went down again, there's a really good probability that it's forming a reverse head and shoulders, which means that the market is going to go up for that specific coin. So just a real quick technical analysis 101. Don't want to get too intrigued with that, studying patterns and lines. I'll bring out Coinigy later, show you what that's all about. But overall, just wanted to give you a quick update and say it's really not too late. Again, Bitcoin amongst a lot of these cryptocurrencies at this point, because I think that's what a lot of people are trying to do, is actually come out with real innovation. They have use cases. They have actual use cases, and they're disrupting real markets. So in the case of Ethereum is disrupting the legal market. In the case of Bitcoin, is disrupting financial markets. And a lot of these, like Ripple, that's one of the best use cases I can give you, because Ripple is basically, bankers are using this. So a lot of people hate Ripple because it's used by centralized banks, and they're like, well, down with the banks, we want to see decentralized coins. It's definitely not decentralized, and there are some coins that aren't decentralized, but Ripple uses the blockchain to enable them to basically lower their transaction fees, say on the back end, so that banks can submit payments to one another without these outrageous fees, which in turn should hypothetically lower their customers' fees as well. So if I'm going to send money over to another country, for example, those transaction fees right now from fiat to another fiat, etc., extremely high priced. Well, Ripple is going to allow them to do these transactions at a lower cost, which hopefully should enable us to have a lower price in the long run as well. So really pay attention to what these coins are. The last bit I want to get into here is if you are investing, understand there are some really cheap coins. It's not too late to invest. There are some really good projects out there that I'm involved with. Hopefully, something like Cardano blows up. EOS is another one. They're both trying to take on number 2 spot Ethereum and essentially kind of become the next Ethereum. But Neo is the China Ethereum, if you will, the Ethereum for the Chinese market. Cardano is the Japanese market. A lot of Japanese buying that. Now, different platforms that you can build. Lisk, for example. Omis Go, that's an excellent one. This one is basically seeing that there's unbanked community in the world. So when you're looking at a use case, how many people in the world have cell phones, but they don't have a bank? So you're looking at, I'm throwing out a percentage that's not an actual percentage, so excuse me, I'm probably dead wrong, but you're looking at say 70-80% of the world doesn't have banks, right? They can't have access to a banking system. They don't have access to a place where they can hold and store their money. So that becomes a really big issue in a lot of these countries, right? So, and I'm not going to get into why. You can go and look that up, etc. But Omis Go is essentially trying to allow them to have mobile banking, because a lot of these countries, they're in villages, but they have cell phones. Cell phones have gotten into their hands. They have that technology, but they don't have a banking system yet. So Omis Go is trying to end that essentially. So check them out. You can always click on one of these, and I don't have any Omis Go myself. I've been wanting to get into it, but the price has just been continuing to rise ever since, July, after the ICO launch. But again, just hit website, and here is what you want to look for. This is probably the crucial point of the video. Everybody says, well, there's so many coins, what do I get into? You want to look at what the product is overall. Is it disruptive in the market? Does it actually have a use case that is going to benefit us in the future? Or is it just another cryptocurrency saying that they're faster than Bitcoin and we're going to be the next Bitcoin? Hoorah, we're decentralized. Oh my gosh. Everybody has the same type of language, and you'll learn that as you go along. Now, one thing I don't know, here it is. Cool. So first, look at if it's disruptive, if it's something, a good use case that you can get out of it. All right. Second, if you believe in the project, you think it's great, check out the team. These are the advisors here. Now, this guy right here, this guy created Ethereum. As an advisor, you want that guy in your team. Beware though, some coins will go ahead and just throw them up, and they'll just put a picture on them on their website, and they're coming out of Singapore or some other country, and they throw up some random picture of some advisor that's not actually advising them at all. Now, I'm not telling you that this is the case with Omis Goes. Absolutely not. These guys I think this is a solid team. But check out the team. Look at these guys. Look them up on LinkedIn. See what their background is. If they're from a financial institutional background and they're making a financial disruptive coin, that's awesome. If it's a financially disruptive coin, but they're in marketing, and that's all they've done is being a marketer or an intern at some, what background do they really hold? Look for people like if it's a disruption in AI, in artificial intelligence, what's the team look like? Let's go back to singularity.net, which is coming out here pretty soon. Singularity.net or singularity.net. Singularity.net. If we head over here, let's look at this team. Oh my word, this is blast off. What, Dr. Ben, Dr. Dave, this guy right here, he has a daughter, a robot daughter, apparently. Sophia, who is also on the team. Their AI intelligent robot is on their bloody team. Their advisors, all top notch. These guys come from an AI background. They know AI. These guys obviously are a legit team, a team that you can pretty much count on for being able to fulfill that project. So another thing you want to look at, so we have the overall idea, the concept. Is it disruptive in the markets? Does it allow us to enhance in some market? And I mean, we're looking at so many different ways that it can disrupt. I'm not going to get into all that, but like Substratum coin is trying to make a decentralized internet. Holy buckets, that's huge. If they can take away the backbone of the internet and decentralize the internet so that we don't have, say, shit like net neutrality getting taken away, right? Those are going to be the guys. So watch out. MadeSafe's another one trying to attempt the same thing. So essentially, you won't have net neutrality power because you'll have a decentralized internet. It'll be on everyone's computer. Everybody's the owner. Can't stress that enough. So everything should be really decentralized. That's where these cryptocurrencies are tending to try to go to. But be careful. There's some things in the background that I'll discuss later videos of why that may not be the case in the future. But so look at if it's a decent project. Check out their team. Make sure their team's legit and they have the background in order to fully develop that, because a lot of these are just hearsay. They're just ideas, and then people are paying them for ideas. So be careful with that, because if it's a software product and they don't even have a demo or anything to actually let you use, it's just an idea, and you don't know if they formalized anything yet. Make sure that they have something. Then we're looking at total supply. 140 million. It's not actually that bad as a total supply. I believe Bitcoin is 21 million or something like that max total. So when you're seeing 24-hour volume, that looks spectacular. Over 100 million people are investing in this, trading back and forth. That's excellent. That means that the coin is good. Some of these you'll find have a low supply, but there's trading at $43 a day, which means, and you're like, oh my gosh, this just went up 200%. Well, yeah, because nobody's trading it. So if it goes up $50, all of a sudden percentage skyrockets, and then people just dump it. So you have to look at what the 24-hour volume is. You have to look at the total supply. If it starts heading past 1 billion, it's getting a little sketchy. Now, some of these coins will be burned. I'm not going to get into that right now. But essentially, just look at these supplies and make sure that they're not just absolutely outrageous. Because if you have, say, like Ripple, one of the problems Ripple has is it's so huge that's actually a really bad example. Just because they have something, a side escrow that they're implementing, and they've already started to implement that, which is really good. Let's go to EOS. Let's see how EOS is. I think this has a great technology, but 1 billion supply is still, it's a little high. So it would be really, really nice, or even better example, Cardano. Cardano has 31 billion. 31 billion, little high. Now if they cut that back in half, maybe a little bit lower than 1 billion, then this thing would skyrocket. But people are seeing that and they're like, well, I don't know, do I get in? The circulating supply, if this goes up $1,000, then the percentage is minuscule. But you can see that people are still loving the project and loving the team. and you know 12% up from that. So that's just a little non-financial advice for you, taking a look at the crypto market, seeing what's out there. Definitely take a look at yourself. I'm going to be late if I don't leave for work, so I just wanted to present that to you, and hopefully it was some use. Again, go to the comments down below, post some stuff. If you have any steam and you want to give me a like spike, that'd be great, and maybe give me a tip and some steam power. Anyway, so yeah, and I'll probably post this on YouTube anyway, just because, why not? And yeah, that's gonna be all for today. I gotta get to work. It's about 4:16 right now, so I'll probably post this later on tonight, but oh well, yeah, I'll talk to you later. Let me know what questions you have, for real. Like spike. All right, peace.